Update 2 on what is now Typhoon Kalmaegi, which is currently located in the Western Pacific, approaching the Philippine Islands with winds of 75 miles per hour and a pressure of 974 millibars. Its position is 15.1 degrees north, 126.6 degrees east as of 2 p.m. UTC, September 13th, and the storm could intensify further before making landfall on the northern island of Luzon in the central or northern part of that island, as possibly a Category 2 typhoon before continuing onto the South China Sea and then heading towards southern China, still as a typhoon. And of course then the storm will probably weaken as it moves over Vietnam and beyond. So, the northern part of the Philippines will be seeing tropical storm conditions possibly already. The island of Catanduanes in particular, the first place to receive warnings yesterday. And warnings have extended in the Philippines today. Signal 2 warnings in effect for the coastal areas of Isabela and Cagayan, the northern provinces in Luzon. And Signal 1 warnings for many other areas besides, including the island of Catanduanes. But no warning areas affecting the areas around Manila yet, and that's not likely to become the case. The storm is going to pass north of those major populated centres in southern Luzon, but still a storm threat for those for a significant amount of people towards the northern part of the country. As a Category 1 storm, it's expected to intensify over those warm sea surface temperatures and other favourable conditions, which we'll touch on in a moment, but as you can see, 30-degree waters pretty much extending all the way to China, or just a shade below that perhaps. In terms of wind shear, it's variable, moderate amounts, perhaps decreasing as the storm leaves the Philippines in around 2 days' time, but could increase again as it approaches China, which is perhaps why we're not going to see that much intensification on the other side. Water vapour is not going to be an issue. You can see very ample amounts of moisture around the whole basin, really. Looking at the computer model forecast, the CMC takes the storm further north, just clipping the northern coast of Luzon, to be honest, with another storm forming behind that. Could be another significant typhoon affecting an area further south in the Philippines, the Visayas region, northernmost Visayas region, into southern Luzon. The GFS model, pretty much what we saw in the forecast before, and another storm following behind that as well. So that's both models saying that there will be 2 storms affecting the Philippines in the next few days and possibly southern China. Another view on the GFS here, over the next few days perhaps, the storm gradually intensifying as it approaches the island, and it looks like it's going to strike the northern part of Luzon as a Category 1 or Category 2 typhoon. Further intensification than that is not likely. So looking at the latest satellite imagery, no particularly obvious eye or anything like that yet, but that could change in the next few hours or days. But the storm's running out of time to intensify before it does make landfall in the Philippines. Obviously, a lot of rainfall and thunderstorms and such is already falling over the islands, southern Luzon in particular being affected by one of the storm's spiral bands right now. But the central core of the storm remains offshore, and that's likely to remain the case for around 24 hours or so, perhaps a little bit less if the storm jogs to the south, and conversely maybe slightly more if it moves towards the north. But you can see those white and black colours showing a very intense centre of the storm at this present time. Looking around the world right now, September 13th at 2 p.m. UTC, Odile is also a hurricane in the eastern Pacific. Tropical Depression 16E still going. Edouard gradually intensifying in the Atlantic, could also become a hurricane. And 93L, which could become a tropical storm in the Atlantic in days to come, but that's looking increasingly unlikely. 96W also in the western Pacific. 56 tropical storms have formed so far in 2014 worldwide. 29 of those have become Category 1 cyclones or their equivalents, 2 of those in the past 24 hours, and 16 have become Category 3 storms with winds of 115 miles per hour plus. Will Kalmaegi become the 17th? It seems somewhat unlikely at this time, but anything can happen in the Western Pacific. You can visit Force 13 on any of its 6 outlets. The website, force13.com, will be the main place to keep you up to date on all the goings-on tropics-wise. Of course, the video pages will also have regular updates. YouTube and Dailymotion, just search Force 13 on those. And of course the social outlets, Facebook and Twitter. Search Force 13 on those, ask questions if you wish, at Force 13 on Twitter, and you can speak to me personally on Skype, just add Fool 13 on there for tropical weather chat. Of course, the control room and the forum is also active on the Force 13 website, where you can see more visual representation of what's going on in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific, and to discuss tropics with fellow storm trackers. That's all for now. The next update in 12 or 24 hours.